What's up, YouTube? This is Jesse with Utah's Driving Experience. I'm coming today with a 91 Miata with an LT1 motor swap. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Foote, spent the last 2 years, 3 years?
2.5 years, yeah.
2.5 years doing this conversion, and he did a lot more to this car than just throwing a big motor in it. John, why don't you tell me a little bit about the car and what you've done?
Well, it was kind of the brainchild of COVID. I had to have something to do to keep my mind sane. So a couple years ago in 2018, late 2018, early 2019, I bought this Miata for $500 from somebody who's going through a pretty rough divorce, and decided that I wanted to.
You said $500?
$500.
And it was running, right?
It was running. It had a crack in the oil pan, but nothing some JV Weld couldn't fix at the time.
Yeah.
I put 10,000 miles on it then, and then
Look at the camera.
once the world shut down, I decided to throw a big motor in it. So I found the motor in Texas for a really good deal. We're hoping it's not stolen at this point, but I ran the VIN and everything's still good on it. Just compiled part by part, and here we are.
Okay, and kind of to go into the car, to fit this motor into this chassis, like, was there a lot of cutting? Was there, like, what did that entail?
Yeah, there was quite a bit on both sides of the firewall on the inside. I had to extend it by 2 inches and then basically hammer it out and then weld the seams shut. It's kind of hard to see from here, but it does have a tubular chassis underneath that's built by V8 Roadsters that holds or cradles the motor, and they kind of build the kit for this car. I'll include some pictures that Jesse can put in, but it also has a trans brace that holds up the transmission and a couple parts that you can weld onto the differential.
Okay, so now, obviously with this big motor, you're not running the stock Miata transmission. What transmission do you have in this?
It has a T56 Magnum, so I mean it's kind of the aftermarket dual engine or dual transmission that's in everything from a Viper to your Camaro to a lot of different Mustangs now.
Yep. And then one thing that definitely catches my eye, coming from sport bikes, John and I used to ride sport bikes for the last 10 plus years, and we survived that phase of our life. And so anyone that's big into motorcycles knows that orange color. John, what suspension do you have in this?
So it's resprung Öhlins suspension for the Miata. It has a little bit tighter suspension to accommodate for the weight of the motor and the differential in the back. But other than that, it's road and track coilovers from Öhlins.
Okay, and does this stock have leaf springs on the rear, or is it
No, it's
coilovers? Okay, and that's manufacturer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was actually one of the first cars that ever came with full coilovers.
And then you replace the front or the rear coilovers also with Öhlins?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And then exhaust.
Oh, geez. Okay. So that was quite the adventure. It's really hard to obviously fit this motor in there with the exhaust. And I'll add some pictures to that as well. But if you look down the sides of the motor, either or, you can see that there's less than an inch or about an inch clearance between the frame rails and where the headers start. Try to get out so you can get some light in there. I had this exhaust made by Chase Hunt. He's the fabricator for industrial injection. And it took him about 3 or 4 months to do it, but it's incredible. It has an X-pipe, mufflers, what's the one word?
Resonator?
Resonators, yes.
Okay.
And then it crosses over in the X-pipe and then does some weird Lamborghini thing that I wanted to do at the end where the mufflers are transposing, which is pretty neat. So you can see the dual mufflers there that kind of split over into a dual exhaust. But it's 3-inch all the way back, and it doesn't have any open chambers, so everything's passed through. That's why it's so loud.
You can see all the work you've done on that, like your control arms and
Yep, I powder coated all of the control arms, top and bottom, the rear subframe.
Oh no.
Lose it?
Nope. And then what rear engine is in this again?
So this has a Ford 8.8 out of 2001, 2002 Terminator Mustang.
Okay. And then what size tires are you running?
245s.
And you plan to go bigger, don't you?
I have to cut up the fenders to fit 275s, but I do plan to go bigger, at least in the rear.
All right, now one of the big things, put a big motor in your car. What's your plans for brakes? Because I know that right now it's got stock Miata brakes.
It does. Hopefully over the winter it's going to have 6-pot Willwoods in the front and probably 2-pot Willwoods in the rear. I haven't changed them yet, but I have burned through a set of pads in 3,000 miles. And it is a little scary, especially because the speeds you can reach so quickly in it. But that's the goal.
Yep. What was that up to?
100.
All right, well, let's hear a start.
Oh boy. One more time.
There we go. Let's give it some baby revs. Yeah, and I can definitely tell you guys, driving behind this car is just mind-blowing. Like, I've driven behind it now long enough, I'm getting used to it, but what first time really following this car, my mind couldn't comprehend what I was seeing versus what I was hearing. Because I would see the back end of a Miata, and at the time it was summertime, so he didn't have this hardtop on. So I'd see this convertible cruising down the road, but then you get the loud V8, and that thing just flies past you. Later in this video, you guys will see some cool flybys and see what this car can actually do. All right, so now some comedy for the channel. So John, how tall are you?
6'4".
6'4". I'm 6 foot. So in a Miata, let's see you get into the car. How well do you fit?
I get this question a lot. So luckily, I do have that.
It's a removable steering wheel. All right. Look at, you got a race car.
I mean, moving my feet around because they're size 16s is kind of a challenge sometimes, but you'll learn.
Yeah. You can kind of see in there. I don't know how well you can see, but he does have an aftermarket roll cage. Help give a little bit of protection with 500 horsepower and what, 2,200 pounds?
It's 2450
2,450.
without me in it, so it's more like 2700 with me in it. But you can see the roll bar better back here.
Yeah. And then with him driving this without the top, his head does stick up past the windshield. So it is rather comical.
My hair gets to have the full windblown look.
Yep. Yeah, we're in his Corvette swapped Miata. 500 horsepower, V8, and a tiny Miata. Doing a ride along. It is dark, so I do apologize for this inside view. Kinda getting these short days now. Woo!
That was cool here.
Definitely not bad in a Miata that originally came with what? Like
116 horsepower.
116 horsepower on the stock engine.
Mine might have had 80.
YouTube, it's time to end this video. I'd like to thank Mr. John Foote for bringing his, I want to say creation, but
It's definitely something.
his go-kart, his street legal go-kart onto the channel, letting us check this thing out, taking us for a drive. So I do want to thank you. Really appreciate your time coming to the channel, explaining to us what you've done to the car and your build process.
You bet, it was fun. It's always a good time to come up here and hang out with you guys, and I actually get to share my toy this time.
Yeah.
So,
And you guys are going to see this car a lot more on this channel. John is one of my really good friends, so we go on a lot of cruises. He's almost at anything I'm at. And so if you guys like this video, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. Let us know what you think John should do to this car in the future. He's also open to ideas on additional swaps. He's been trying to brainstorm on what he wants to swap next. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.